Let's see. Oh, yeah. Hello and welcome. We're gonna wait a little while before this starts. Here, let me. Hello, hello, hello. We're gonna wait a little while before this gets started. So I'm gonna have Poppy Playtime OSTs playing in the background. Because I have no other. Don't mind my dogs. But when we get this started, I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant of what the heck happened to Poppy Playtime. I mean, what happened? Because I've been seeing a whole lot of everything happening with it. So when we get started, once a lot of people get started and hopping on, we're gonna go ahead and go on a little bit of a rant. I don't have a script. I'm going off of what I've heard and what I have experienced, which isn't very much because I experienced a bug, but I will get into that later when we get started. So we're gonna wait. So let's just enjoy the first OST to Poppy Playtime, which is the. Give me a moment. Kodiak, also, shut up! Probably the mailman's here, which is why all the dogs are freaking the hell out. I'm gonna shut my door. Sorry for shaking the camera. I'm hooking up my tripod to my thing so I can turn it on. There we go. Much better. Much better. Much better. Okay. So, what's going on with Poppy Playtime? Let's see. Well, it started off really, really nice. I enjoyed it, but mostly why I'm making this is not because of my experiences, but what I've seen from other content creators. More specifically, like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, and Danny Phantom EXE, all of those big YouTubers. I got something on my teeth. Oops. But one of the most important things is that a lot of people have pointed out that the story doesn't make sense. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I can understand why it doesn't make sense, because it goes from chapter 1 where you're an ex-employee and you end up receiving this letter from seemingly out of nowhere, from no one in particular, and you figure out, oh crap, I think all my coworkers are still there. Spoiler alert, they're all dead. Yes. And one of the things that drove me absolutely freaking insane was how bad it spiraled after, like, what a lot of people have said, chapter 2. But then there's people like Game Theory who also made a whole lot of discoveries regarding the story itself. Hang on. Okay. Got a little. There's gonna be a lot of fixing my makeup because I just did this. Ugh. Because I was watching YouTube on my TV and I was like, okay, this person's talking about what the heck happened to Poppy Playtime and why it went so badly with Markiplier. And he made some really good points. He said that it's chase sequence after chase sequence, and that you're doing something, and the mechanic is right in the middle of doing the chase, which you can't get a hold of. It drives everyone absolutely insane, which is true, because I've seen, like, multiple people trying to figure out a mechanic in mid-game and not get it. Mostly because the mechanic is there, but you don't see it. An example is, I watched, I most likely watch Danny Phantom EXE's Poppy Playtime videos because it just makes me smile, and he's silly, and he does all of these things, and it makes me happy. It makes me smile and giggle, and I know all the lines by heart because I watch it so often, but it's also used as background noise for me. So the way I use Danny Phantom EXE as an example is because he was running from a chase in chapter 4, which was the Yarnaby chase. And he was running, yes, because that's what the chase is, you run. He was running, and he went to turn around and go, with the flare gun, he went to go get Yarnaby, but he missed a very intuitive, as Markiplier called it, swing. He missed it, and then he went, I died. Didn't realize I was supposed to jump there. And it was one of those things where, yes, you see it, but you don't realize what you're supposed to do because it's such a heat of the moment thing, you don't realize it. But back to the original topic of what happened to Poppy Playtime, because I saw on my main TV, as I was watching this, I was thinking, okay, this guy has a lot of good points. Why did it go off the rails after chapter 2? It went off of the rails at chapter 2 because, and this is a big because, it was, I don't remember exactly what he said, but there was a good storyline in chapter 1 and chapter 2 saying, hey, this is an idea, this is what we're going with, and then they finally came up with a story that didn't line up with the endings of chapter 1 and 2. Which never really made any sense to me, but I was like, okay, it's a franchise. Franchises do this sometimes. They don't realize that they made a story on something with all of these things. Which, it's understandable, very understandable, but the only thing that doesn't really make sense is how how chapter 3 kind of derailed where everything was going. So if you look at it, in chapter 2, you're taken off of a train. The train is derailed as you're headed off to essentially, quote unquote, leave the factory, but Poppy, as it was portrayed earlier, I don't know how to explain this, because I don't have a script written. I'm just going off the top of my head and jumping from topic to topic, because ADHD, whoopee. What happened is, there's secrets in this factory, as in with all indie horror games. There's a story to this, and the story is there's this guy who made a factory to bring joy to children and families, who ended up losing his adopted daughter after about in the 1960s, Elliot Ludwig, who is the creator and founder of Playtime, had an adopted daughter in the 1960s who tragically died. And this guy was very innovative, and he decided, I don't want to lose another family member. How the heck do I do this? So he turned to science and experiments in order to figure out how to make her live. And he did it somehow with the poppy gel mixture that we see in chapter 5, which was the first was 1006, who is the prototype, who is also Ollie, who was Elliot Ludwig's adopted son, under the guise, well, I'm just gonna go off what I'm thinking here. So there's a hidden tape that's really easy to miss, but also really easy to find in chapter 5, that is Elliot Ludwig and the prototype, who is Ollie. The only reason why I know this is because as I was doing schoolwork in my graphic design class, which I'm going to continue here soon, so I may not be able to do as much content either on Twitch or Reality or here on YouTube. So what I'm trying to say is that Elliot Ludwig adopted Oliver, and decided after Poppy had passed away so young at the age of 11, as we see in the Fortnite collab with Poppy Playtime. Oliver is 1006, and Poppy is 1007. It makes a lot more sense not explained by me, because I've only watched this and I'm portraying this information because I watched Game Theory, which is continued by Tom, but a lot of people don't like him, but that's beside the point. So this tape, really easy to miss, but also really easy to find. I can't remember where it was. I think it's before you get to Sweet Street, or before you leave the gel labs. Somewhere in between those two parts. So the reason why I'm saying this is because there is a tape that is looking after your human. And the diagrams are of Oliver. If you listen very closely, the diagrams that are seen in this tape have, in one of them, it's a child's hand, and throughout the hand is metal barring and screws and all of these things where bones should be. Oliver was abused by his, I think it was he was abused by his biological father, who beat his hand with a hammer, which is why we see all that metal. And then there's a CT scan, but I don't know what the CT scan is for, which honestly I should, even though I've never played these games. But it's Oliver's X-rays and CT scans, which no one realizes because most of the YouTubers I've seen, they haven't found that tape. They found tapes. They found Huggy Wuggy's tape, the Sweet Street tape, but most of them haven't found this other tape. I watch Dilly on occasion, who does like platinum journeys, and I follow his Discord. He did the platinum journey for chapter 5, which I haven't finished because ADHD brain, I don't focus very well. So he goes through and he finds all of these trophies and he finds all of the lore tapes and he explains them in his videos, which I highly recommend you go watch, which is less informative, which is more informative than mine, but I highly recommend highly recommend going to Game Theory, who has done all of the Poppy Playtime theories that we know today. But there's a tape, but this tape is of Oliver, who was abused and had metal plating in his hand to gain function back in his hand again. But Elliot had already lost Poppy and adopted Oliver to essentially use him as an experiment, which is what happened. Oliver became 1006 in order to crack the code to bring Poppy back. Elliot Ludwig was successful, and what ended up happening was Oliver started gaining anger and betrayal from Ludwig because he was lied to about a home that he could have had, a safe one, a better place for him to live, which is what Oliver calls, or is what Oliver says in Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. So, with that being said, Oliver was used as the prototype for bringing Poppy back, which, when Poppy was brought back, Prototype and Poppy were separated because Ludwig was scared of the anger, the temperament tendencies of the Prototype hurting his daughter, who he brought back, because he couldn't stand losing another family member. And then it went on continuously for many, many years, where all of the bigger bodies to all of the toys that we see are children being experimented on and turned into these toys because of all of the stuff that Ludwig started with. And Ludwig, before all of the Bigger Bodies initiative, he started the Young Geniuses program, which is where Harley Sawyer comes in. Harley Sawyer was really interested in what was going on. He was also one of those people who takes credit for everything else that everyone did, but also made some progress on his own. It doesn't make a lot of sense when I say it, so if you need to, go ahead and check out Game Theory or anyone else that does like Poppy Playtime theories, because this one kind of sucks, because I may have watched and learned about Poppy Playtime and discovered all of these things that makes FNAF look like a frickin' saint, which is scary to me, because I like Poppy Playtime, but there's also people who defend it when they haven't even played it themselves. I played it once, but the reason I stopped playing it was I couldn't get past the vent puzzle in Chapter 1, because I encountered a bug. I couldn't get power to the conveyor belt at all. I love Poppy Playtime. It is one of my very, very favorite horror games, aside from FNAF, because of how these people can come up with these horrific ideas, but turn it into a game, which honestly is a little iffy when you think about it, but it's also me thinking about all these things and listening to game theory, and all of these other people are like, okay, well, this is the story and we're figuring this out little by little with what information we are given across these years that we have it. Which is why Poppy Playtime has done this for so long. But a lot of other people have been saying it's bad, hello, because a lot of Poppy Playtime people who have watched the franchise through massive YouTubers have seen, oh my gosh, what is going on? Markiplier's absolute crash out after Chapter 5 left Poppy Playtime, the Poppy Playtime fandom, to go absolutely freaking ballistic. Absolutely ballistic. It's one of those things that people haven't played. I haven't played it, but I understand it. There's a story, but it was kind of, I think it was written out after Chapter 2. With what information I was given snippets of, hey, this is what happened, this is what we're going with. From Chapter 1 and 2, guess what is my favorite Poppy Playtime 5? Poppy Playtime 5, it is very fun. I enjoy it. It gives a little bit more on the story of how the toys were, or not toys, toys and children. Children and toys, because it's supposed to be a conditioning. You go through this whole conditioning phase, which is what Chapter 5 is based off of. Lily Love Braids is my favorite. I can understand that. It's very different for a lot of people, but the fandom of Poppy Playtime are constantly, like, trying to defend it when they haven't played it themselves. I tried playing Chapter 1. It didn't work out. I encountered a bug where my grab pack wouldn't focus and try to grab onto the place I'm supposed to put my grab pack. I couldn't move far enough to give power to the conveyor belt. I couldn't move. It would stop at a certain point and I was stuck there. I tried everything. I tried moving as far as I could to stick the hand on the other side. So if these are my hands, my hand was all the way over here. Oh wow. But Chapter 1, these are my grab pack hands. My hand was over here, attached to the first part. I couldn't, because I play on PlayStation 5, I couldn't move my red hand onto the second part of the electrical puzzle because it stopped. As if in real life the wire had stalled, or like, you know when you pull down your seatbelt and it sticks, or you can't get it down? That's what it was like. I couldn't get my red hand to stick on the second half of the power puzzle because it was like the wire had locked. So I stopped playing it, but I still watch people play Poppy Playtime. It's still one of my favorite franchises despite all the bugs and hate that it gets. I enjoy it mostly for watching Danny Phantom, EXE, Jacksepticeye, or Markiplier play it because they're my favorite YouTubers. I may sound like one of those suck-ups. Yes. But I like the story, and I like the concept. And the fact that Mommy Longlegs is crazy. She said when I asked you to play fair, you cheated. Hang on. Hang on. I can't see my chat. I cannot see my chat. Welcome to live chat. Okay. I can't see what that said. But a lot of people have been giving Poppy Playtime hate or have been defending it because it's puzzle games. It's a puzzle game, but it's also indie horror that involves scientific experiment on children. It's okay, you're fine. It's alright. But Poppy Playtime does this thing where it's indie horror with unfathomable amounts of scientific experiments, trying to play God, which is 90% of the indie horror games that are out there, like Five Nights at Freddy's, Starting a Band, Poppy Playtime, as well as Bendy and the Ink Machine, I think. I'm not 100% sure. Prototype? What do you mean? I'm a little confused. What do you mean? From Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. We've seen snippets of him throughout most of the chapters. So we see his claw in... He collects toy parts. Yes, that is seen in Chapter 5 because of the Mommy Longlegs hand, Kissy's hand, Huggy's hand. The fur from Catnap is on his back as well. As well as the... It's okay. Spelling mistakes happen, it's fine. As well as the red gas canisters that he, I'm gonna assume, collected and attached to himself. And the muscles on his legs. Yes. He was basically... I'm trying not to make it sound too much like FNAF, but he quite literally put himself together with all of these toy parts because he had learned from sitting in a cell and observing everything that was going on around him. The experiments, the conditioning, all of that. Which is why we ended up with the Hour of Joy and why some, not all, not, like a small handful. I'm gonna say a small handful who he thought death was too good for them, decided, like Miss Gracie, who ended up becoming Lily Lovebraids. Death was too good for her because she had made the conditioning videos that we see throughout Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. Throughout that, he thought, when they realized, then why did Giblet say he's all juiced up if they cut him up? He just put himself back together. Pretty much, yeah. I think that was it. That also leads into another point. It was inspired by FNAF. Yes, a lot of people have said that. It's inspired by Bendy and the Ink Machine, FNAF, which is all based down around mascots and all these things. And everyone was like, oh, it's just a knockoff because it's mascot horror. And they were doing this all based off of Chapter 1, which was released in 2021? My information is really, really bad right now. I'm gonna say 2021, which was where it all started. They only went off of the information from playing Poppy Playtime Chapter 4. I wanted to play all the Poppy Playtime games. Dory's Chase. Doughy's Chase. Okay, I see. How's that going for you, by the way? Doughy. Sorry. Doughy was a really cool guy. We all loved Doughy. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, he's so fun. How could this go wrong? But like everything, we can't have anything good in this nightmare factory. Anyway. Oh. Oops. I feel bad. But since I haven't played it, I don't know all what happens, but I've seen YouTubers do it, which is one of the reasons why I'm so big into Poppy Playtime. Now what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. I was jumping from topic to topic. question. Should I go with the whole story of Poppy Playtime and then figure out how it all went wrong? Because, like I said, I was talking about FNAF. Okay. I was trying to make comparisons between FNAF. Thank you. So, Poppy Playtime is inspired by Bendy and the Ink Machine and FNAF and all these other indie horror games that were before. So the reason why I say this is because a lot of people on YouTube have made the point that Poppy is basically a one-off of Circus Baby from Sister Location. And the reason why a lot of people say this, including me, is because she gives off this vibe that she's trying to help us, but then goes full 180 and betrays us, which is as we see in Sister Location, but Circus Baby is not Circus Baby, and it's actually Ennard pretending to be Circus Baby. We just have Poppy. Just Poppy, who flipped the switch saying, hey, we need you to, hey, I need you, we need you to help us to destroy the prototype, who we realize in Chapter 4 was... Poppy is a fraud. Yes, she is a fraud. She gave us this guise. Yes, Poppy is tricking you into doing what she wants in order to destroy the place, because even though she didn't say it, she was a part of... She said that in a deleted in deleted audio from Chapter 2 that Bob Entertainment did not put in there because it would have given... Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, I can't let you leave. But the original... idea that they were going with is that terrible things have happened and I am the cause. Because she and the prototype are the first ones to ever be turned into toys after... Well, Poppy was turned into a toy after passing away, and Ollie was basically the test in order to bring Poppy back to life, which also ended up being the Poppy doll, who was based off of Elliot Ludwig's daughter, ironically named Poppy. Why does Prototype want Poppy so bad? Because in the tape that is so easy to miss in Chapter 5, but really easy to find, where it's like Elliot Ludwig and the Prototype conversing with each other, Ludwig promised Oliver, who is the Prototype, that he would meet Poppy soon, but that never happened. And that a better place would be among the three of them, and they could be a family together. That didn't end up happening because Ollie never saw Poppy until the Hour of Joy, kind of. Or, wait. No, Poppy was traveling around the factory, and the Prototype found her. Well, Ollie is the Prototype. Yes! That is confirmed. That is 100% confirmed in that tape. Poppy, I guess, what Game Theory had said, Poppy was roaming around the, factory after the Hour of Joy, in which she was a part of, but we didn't get that information until Chapter 4 with the Doctor. So, Prototype took all Toys' voice. Yes, and he also took some of the executives, because if you listen, the first example we get of this is in Chapter 3, after the catnap fight, which Prototype took Harley Sawyer's voice and reciprocated Harley's words back in his face, which was the first thing, which was the second thing we got a sneak peek of at the Prototype entirely, is that he can mimic voices, but he has an original voice, he just decides not to use it at all until Chapter 3 and Chapter 4, where he's still trying to get us to follow Poppy's instructions. Was it like no more games, no more lies? No. In chapter 3, it was I learned something new about you every day. After Prototype says, you stick us, beat us, tear our flesh, do you feel it? And Harley Sora goes on this evil monologue about how he learns everything about the Prototype by studying him in certain circumstances and learning something new, which is why Sawyer said, I learned something new about you every day. And then Prototype says, thank you, in this distorted, I think, Elliot Ludwig voice. And then, Harley says, you thank me. Then Prototype says, I'm going to guess in Leith Pierre's voice, absolutely. Switch to Poppy Playtime at Sweet Street. Good luck, I'm gonna say. Good luck. But Prototype said absolutely, and I'm going to assume Leith Pierre's voice, and then switch to Sawyer's. Am I cooked? Depending on how many times you die. So, try not to die too many times. Please. because I like Lily Love Braids, but she's so, I want to say bipolar, because she gives off that vibe while you're got jump scared by Lily Love Braids. Oh yeah, a lot of people have, mostly in the chase, because they didn't know where to go, which was one of the reasons why I'm making this live, is because so many people have said that the chases make no sense. There's no guide to figure out where you're supposed to go, what you're supposed to do, and why Markiplier crashed out so bad about it. It's because the chases, they have no direction. You don't know where you're supposed to go until something blocks you. Chapter 2 did a really good job of showing you which way to go, which was a little hard to gauge, because it was one of those things where you have to gauge your surroundings, and then musical memory is difficult. I haven't played Chapter 2, mainly because I don't have the money to buy Chapter 2. Because I am broke graduate. No money. But anyway, I ended up not playing all of the games. I did try Chapter 2 on my PS4, but my PS4 was actually my dad's PS4, in which he let me play because he has a PS5, much like me. But I didn't finish Chapter 2 because I may like horror, but I may like horror games, but I don't like playing them because, giggling, why are you giggling? Anyway, oh, what? What do you mean? Lily, oh! Yeah, she's kind of creepy, to be honest. She's creepy, but she's also important to the story, much like Miss Gracie was, because Lily Love Braids is Miss Gracie. Now where was I going with this? I get so sidetracked, it drives me and it drives everyone insane. But I I enjoy Poppy Playtime mainly for the story and because of how out there things can be and how science is integrated into Poppy Playtime more so than, say, FNAF, which basically deals with souls. Poppy Playtime deals with scientific experiment rather than agony and trying to get the soul of a child into an animatronic. These are actual children whose organs and body parts are being taken and integrated into these toys scientifically via Poppy Gel, which shocked me to all heck. And our first clue of this was the note in chapter 2 on Elliot Ludwig's desk when you first get into the chapter. It's one of those, oh my gosh, yes, Prototype turns orphans into toys, and the toys that go against him be turned into the wrong side animals, which we see throughout chapter 5. So we see this note that is 814 that used live rats and the Poppy Gel mixture that they had created for the purpose of regenerating, and healing. But they hadn't perfected it at experiment 814, but way after, in the thousands, which is where we get experiment 1006, which the Poppy Gel had been perfected at that time, and he was the blueprint in order to have other experiments be made. Why am I cutting off? I'm trying to think of ways that I can explain this and make it make sense. Which is why I'm cutting off so bad and why I'm stopping my sentences. Because my brain is going 100 miles an hour and I can't understand what I'm even saying sometimes. So I have to stop, think about my next sentence, and then explain it in a way that is understandable to people who haven't heard the story or haven't seen the series. You kind of understand what I'm trying to get at? No, live is cutting me off. Oh, it's probably because I'm going too fast, or wherever you are, cell towers are kind of either bugging out. Because yesterday I was doing something, and then my phone kind of just crashed out. Like, one of my apps wasn't working. So it ended up, like, cutting or doing something. Yeah. It doesn't really make any sense when I explain it, which is why I recommend going to game theory and all these other people who do theories and figure these things out way quicker and had a script planned out, rather than listening to me ramble on and not, No, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Because I can barely comprehend with how shocking this story is. Mainly because I didn't know that this game had used actual scientific research on the Poppy Gel and restorative gel mixtures. And the negation formula for the restorative gel mixture, which needed to be integrated into the Poppy Gel in order for it not to kill the specimens, as they call it in Chapter 5, in order to make it work. So the whole story is the founder of the Playtime Co. toy company, was divorced, but he had an adopted daughter that he adopted shortly after because he was alone, in which he brought to the factory quite frequently and and made a toy after his adopted daughter, the Poppy Playtime doll, which hit big. It blew up quite quickly because little girls would see this Poppy doll on the TV and ask for it, in which it was the perfect toy because her hair smelled like poppies, and it was a hit with the parents because they used opium poppies to scent her hair, which we all know opium is a drug. It is used in many different ways. It was used in balms, it was used in ointments, it was used in soups in order to calm or help you to fall asleep if you had like some form of insomnia. And it would calm the children who were like restless and trying to think of a way I could put this, who were restless and not sleeping well, or were just overall fussy. So the parents who bought this doll noticed that their kids were less rambunctious and more subdued in their actions. Poppy gel like prototype, but poppy flower to make poppy. Yes, they the first thing they came with was the poppy gas, or red smoke as they called it. I'll be right back. I gotta go get a computer. I'll be right back. Okie dokie, I have computer. Anyway, okay, we are gonna go on a little bit of an adventure. Yippee! Okay, we're going to get a tray table. I should have had that tray table beforehand, but here we go. Do. Alrighty, so I am going to set up this tray table in order to remember the gauge of the story I'm trying to tell to my viewers without having to, do all the things. Yarnaby. Oh, jeez. Excusez-moi. Haha. I got it. Okay, there's that. There's this. And then there's this. Okay, I'm gonna lower that because that is way too high. There we go. Scoot back. Do this. There we go. Proper setup for me. Anyway. Ah, jeez. I'm right by a dog bed that's in my room. Okay. Hi! Thank you for joining me. Okay. Okie dokie. Poppy Playtime story. Oh my gosh, this thing is glitching out on me. I don't like that. Can we scroll? What the hasn't loaded yet. That's the problem. Okay, can I scroll now? Okay, my internet must be bugging out because this is taking... What's my favorite Poppy Playtime character? Personally, I kind of like the prototype. Baba Chops? Actually, yeah, some of the, like, I like the Nightmare Critters. Lily Love Braids is your favorite? Yeah, I can understand why. She flips very often. Okay. So the story that I have... Huh? Oh. Well, her personality is, I'm saying doubles, is like, on one side, she's very, as we see in one of the notes that explains it, is like, it's, I think it was the note from the prototype saying that she was childishly naive, forgot channel name. Oh, it's Flaming Phoenix. My favorite Poppy Playtime character is, Dog Day from the Smiling Critters, and, there's one of the Nightmare Critters. Can we talk about Lily Love Braids, please? Yes, we may. Yes. So, one of the reasons why, I'm trying to start a reason for why a lot of people have made comments about Lily Love Braids. People have said that she's an extra character, which is true, but she's also very important to the story because Lily Love Braids is Gracie Green, who is the person in the what is it? Conditioning videos. So the reason why it's so integrated like this is because the prototype who knew Miss Gracie who was part of turning these children into toys, which very unscientifically kind of makes sense, but also is kind of out there, if you know what I mean. And prototype thought, well, she was part of this, and she loves crumpets and the tea party. Yes, she does, because that... I'm trying to explain. I kind of don't know how to explain that in a way that is able to be comprehended and understandable. So, Lily Love Braids was originally Gracie Green, who was the the person in the conditioning tapes. Who the prototype thought death was too good for her, so Gracie was then turned in to Lily Love Braids and forced to watch her own conditioning videos, and her brain, she has a star. Yep. Galaxy? I don't know what you mean. Oh, is it the other globy star that we see in like this hidden room? Gracie was brainwashed. Yes, she had brainwashed the kids, which was in the conditioning videos, and she said that being alive was the bad dream and that being a toy was paradise. Those ones were played from before they were turned that they were experimented on and turned into the toys. So how it would go is that the ones that we see where it's like the one where it's like having soft wool like Baba Chops, and having, which is the kids will forget who they were. Yes, which is what we see in the Huggy Wuggy conditioning tapes, memory tapes. But back to the conditioning. I felt bad for Lily. Why? She lives alone. That is true. She was placed into that dollhouse with nothing else, and she constantly looked for escapes. Her eyes darted around everywhere, as we read in one of the notes that is in one of the observation rooms of Lily's playhouse, of Lily's dollhouse. And her brain essentially went through a psychological break, which kind of caused her to go a little bit insane, which is why she's always essentially voicing to people. She's voicing herself as well as Candy Cat, which is seen frequently throughout the Sweet Street chapter, or section of the chapter of chapter 5. And no one understood why until a lot of people started theorizing. I couldn't remember here. Why does Lily love raids? Lily's dollhouse and Candy Cat said they smell like dead bodies. I remember that. Lily love raids. Voice to people. Okay, the wiki fandom. We'll check the wiki fandom. No one really understands why she voices two people. So, okay. I need actual information on Lily Love Raids. Wiki, thank you. Okay. Lily's hair and teeth are glowing green, but it got updated to where her stars are glowing green too. That is very interesting because I did not see that in other playthroughs. Okay. Okay. During the massacre, the toys took one of the employees as hostage, Gracie Green, who was high-ranking counselor that had psychologically tortured the experiments with her brainwashing videos to make them forget their old human identities and embrace their new toy identities. Oh my lord, what? What? What is it? Oh my lord, what? I'm confused. so confused. This actually was going with what I said about Lily Lovebraids originally, is that for her transgressions, Gracie was selected as experiment 1468 candidate, surgically transformed into Lily Lovebraids in 1995 and subjected to her own conditioning. Is keeping Lily company. Yes, that is true. She voices Candy Cat as a way to keep herself company, is what I'm thinking with that information. With her identity and crimes forgotten, Lily was sentenced to isolation by the prototype, later exiled to Sweet Street around 1997. Lily took up residence in her own dollhouse where she continuously attempted to gain the prototype's favor when the player returned in 2005. As a result of her conditioning, Lily acquired many of the behavioral traits that Mrs. Gracie's persona displays in her conditioning videos. She attempts to keep up an excited, optimistic, and friendly personality, and also emphasizes words and gestures as if wanting to engage those she is speaking with, which much like the host of a kids' TV show, like Miss Gracie in the videos, I guess. Well, this is what the wiki is saying, and this is all information that I'm taking in as I'm doing this, with also, about her. Oh, I know what you mean. She has a habit of, oh, I didn't know this. Like Miss Gracie in the videos, she has a habit, I was researching. Oh! Occasionally referring to people, including herself, through nicknames consisting in alternative of rhyming pairs of adjective and a name, such as Silly Lily, Winning Wendy, or Asking Annie. Usually to describe someone's behavior or situation. Also adopted the ideals that the videos are tried to instill in the toys, the belief that she had always been a toy that is important to well behave, and that bad toys must be punished by being put inside the bad toy box. What did you say? I was looking at this and reading, and then I looked over split second, and then it disappeared. Aw, thank you! I love the support from my viewers, especially when I'm doing stuff that's so well known, like Poppy Playtime and Five Nights at Freddy's. I haven't done many Five Nights at Freddy's storyline explanations and what happened and why, but this one has caught my attention because I've seen so many people, like, trying to explain it in a way that they understand, and then everything else. Okay, I'm doing that. Okay, I'm getting rid of that notification. Ah! Okay. My thing had reloaded, so. Okay. So, I finally came across the one that I'm taking notes about her. That's actually a good thing because, I didn't, and I'm just going off of what the wiki is saying. And one of the things it says is that in a message written by the prototype about Lily, about her 410th, why her eyes are red. I never understood why her eyes are red in the first place. It's because they're like, I don't know why. I've never known why. of isolation in the conditioning wing, at which point her conditioning had already been completing. He describes her as childishly... Yeah, why her eyes are red. I don't know. Lily acquired some traits that are associated with her toy's character. More specifically, she seems very fond of tea parties and cooking crumpets. She also keeps a girly pose while walking and running with her arms extended along her sides. You have one viewer. I know. Yeah. I don't get many viewers unless I'm like talking about absolutely nothing in particular. Like one of the lives that I did in the past was just me ranting about whatever. And then my brother was a part of it, which then caused a whole bunch of chaotic comments, and then I had to make my brother like a mod. So I don't remember which one it was. I think I had like 20 viewers, maybe more. I don't know. Search cat tree. Huh? I'm sorry, I'm confused. What time is it? Let's see. Even when she is mad, Lily also loves spending her time... Wait, what? Huh? Oh! Wait, what? I did see that because a lot of people... Because isn't there a note that has all of those in the same thing at the top of the note? Yes, no, correct me if I'm wrong. No, it's okay, you're fine. Let's see. Even when she's mad, Lily also loves spending time with her toy friends, having sleepover, brushing her hair, dressing up with her various fashion options. Despite her pretense of being a nice person, Lily is actually selfish, bossy, easily angered, nor does she make any honest attempt to hide it. Even while acting friendly, her dialogue is punctured with mean sarcasm and threatening innuendos as she speaks with taunt and belittlement to people. Huh? Please, what? I need to figure out how I can see all of it. I'd like to see it. Because it's all... Oh, there it goes. Type cat tree. The name is... Tilly, Lily, Silly, Billy. I did not know that. Explicitly hostile toward... Oh, belittlement to people she is explicitly being hostile toward. Okay, but that doesn't explain why... I saw it. Saw what? Here. She wrote it. Yeah, it was in one of the notes. I was right. Because I remember watching a video and then I saw a note that had that written at the top of it, the Tilly, Lily, Silly, Billy. I saw it in a note somewhere on a video, but I didn't remember which video, but I knew I saw it. Confirmation, Yes. I love the confirmation that I get. Okay, here we go. I think I found it. Lily's most notable display of insanity, however, is her habit of talking to inanimate toys as if they were alive, even going as far as to place them around the dollhouse in situations that mimic domestic activities. A coping mechanism developed to deal with the isolationism. How do I do that? Do I write it myself? What do I do? I've never had the I've never understood the ability to write like names or something. Here, I gotta share this with someone. Maybe that'll help. Nope, not email. The flip. Lily wrote Tilly Lily Silly Billy. Yes, she did. She did in one of the notes to herself that she did. I don't remember what note it was though. Dollhouse situations, domestic. A coping mechanism developed to deal with isolationism forced upon her. Carries around a candy cat head which she uses to express her more pessimistic type cat tree click image. I don't know if you have the image. I don't. Do I have that ability to like type my own messages? Because I don't think I've ever had to do that before. Do I have that ability? No, it doesn't look like I do. Nope. Interesting. Looks like I don't have the ability to write my own message. This is absolutely joyful. Joyful. Not fun. Carries around candy cat head in which she uses to express her more pessimistic and grounded thoughts, such as suggesting that the player might not have come for the tea party like she wants to believe. By talking to herself in a lower pitched voice and pretending that it is the head doing so, at which point Lily replies to it by dismissing its claims, rectifying them. When during the tea party the prototype damages the head, annoyed by Lily's behavior, she reacts by crossing her arms, sulking, and leaving the party, only returning to sneak up on Poppy after noticing her lying on the table. Alright. Since she lost her memories as a result of her conditioning, Lily is unable to understand why she is an outcast among the prototype's followers. As a result of this, she is desperate for the prototype's approval, doing anything she can to earn her place at his side, as well as worrying over anything that might displease him. She also seems to harbor some level of hatred for Poppy Playtime, demanding she stop singing while captive, displaying bitterness at her. Click the Google app. Okay, I'm on the Google app. I'm on Google. Wait. Why is this on freaking Yahoo? Okay. Google. I don't want this. Sorry, my computer is very weird. I'm searching for some reason. My computer, it is on Google. It is on Google Chrome, but I am looking things up actively on Yahoo, which makes no sense at all. It makes no sense to me. Demanding she stop singing, bitterness at her being the prototype's favorite despite her continued rebellions, even attempting to inflict further harm on her after her face got accidentally crushed. Besides the prototype, the only person Lily cares about is Miss Gracie. Since Lily does not remember her previous life, she believes Miss Gracie's persona in the conditioning videos to be the woman's actual personality. As such, she believes her to be a kind, friendly person and is grateful for her having made her who she is and having been the only one who ever kept her company. Oh, when Lily finds her former corpse, she recognizes it as Miss Gracie from the conditioning tapes and brings it to the dollhouse, where she starts caring for it as if it were alive, gifting it plushies and flowers, dressing it up in jewels, and brushing its head, believing it to still have hair, and sitting it up in a personal room where it can sleep. However, Lily's awareness of her previous life still exists on a subconscious level when she discovers that someone has gotten in her room where Miss Gracie's body lies. She lulls the corpse back by telling it to go sleep, that no one is going to hurt her anymore. Despite the fact that she should not be aware of the fact Miss Gracie has been tortured. This is all information that I have not known. Also, someone said that Lily Lovebraids had already been a working, bigger body before Gracie Green had ever been integrated into Lily Lovebraids in the first place. Correct me if I'm wrong. Or the wiki will tell me if I'm wrong or not. I don't know. But I'm 100% sure that, because there have been instances where people have said Lily Lovebraids is essentially two people. I do not think so. A lot of people say, oh, Lily Lovebraids was already made before she became Gracie Green, or before Gracie Green became Lily Lovebraids. One major factor, how could Lily Lovebraids be active while Miss Gracie was alive? She was still being created by the time Gracie Green had been alive. Only for the hour of joy to happen and the Lily Lovebraids, I want to say shell, or not corpse, like the start of Lily Lovebraids had still been there with with playing Gmod spawned at Lily Lovebraids. What's Gmod? Is it something I'm not aware of, or my makeup's all messed up. When Playtime Co. was still active, they created and launched the Lily Lovebraids doll, in which children could braid her hair, play dress up, and have tea parties. Lily Lovebraids was proposed by Poppy Playtime Co. as part of the Bigger Body Initiative, designating her as Experiment 1468. She was designed with the ability to control her hair like an extra set of limbs. The scientists tried several attempts to get this design right before a combination of horsehair, grafted finger bones, and artificial bones, other biological materials. It's okay, you're okay, go back to sleep, no one's gonna hurt you anymore. And then she goes off and then she says, someone's been in here. Someone who's going in the box. Scientists tried several attempts. Surgery was to complete the experiment was set to be done on August 20th, 1995. However, the hour of joy occurred 12 days before this. Little did everyone expect the subject of this experiment end up being lead counselor in Awareness and Integration Sector, Gracie Green, who was taken during the hour of joy by the bigger body versions of Kickin' Chicken, Hoppy Hopscotch, and Baba Chops. In an act of vengeance for her role in the brainwashing of the other experiments, the prototype successfully, Miss Gracie got punished for brainwashing the toy, so she turned into Lily Lovebraids. Yes! And it says here that the bigger body versions of Kickin' Chicken, Hoppy Hopscotch, and Baba Chops. Scary mod? Oh. Interesting. It's like you can spawn in the mobs. Oh, that's so freaking cool. That's cool. Interesting, but cool. Prototype successfully experimented with Gracie Green and transformed her into Lily Lovebraid's experiment 1468. So, now I know a little bit more information about what was... looks like I was right on the money, actually. Looks like I was right on the money. Gracie Green, who was taken during the Hour of Joy by the bigger body versions of Kickin' Chicken, Happy Hopscotch, and Baba Chops in an act of vengeance for her role in the brainwashing of the other experiments. And as it says in the backstory of Lily Lovebraids, she was supposed to be... A child was supposed to be used for the Lily Lovebraids' bigger body, but the Hour of Joy had occurred exactly 12 days before the original surgery, 8/8/1995, while the surgery was supposed to be on 8/20/1995. So Lily Lovebraids had never been completed. So the wiki had completely debunked the two people in Lily Lovebraids theory. Completely debunked it. After her transformation, 1468 was isolated, subject became conditioning treatment, and she subjected other children with the Bigger Bodies Initiative. Being forced to watch her own brainwashing videos, Experiment 1468 tried to resist and remember her human identity, but her human videos brainwashing her, damaging her sanity. She forgot who she was. Forgot that she was Miss Gracie, started to think that she had always been a toy. After 122 days of isolation and watching her own brainwashing videos, the mind of Experiment 1468 finally gave into her madness and split into two personalities. Experiment 1468 happily accepted herself as Lily Lovebraids and forgot that she was Gracie Green. She had Lily as her main personality, used the head of a candy cat toy, which she enjoyed talking to for ventriloquism, and showing her personality, which was more macabre than and could be what remained of Gracie Green. This is very, very freaking interesting, because I knew that she was using it for some kind of purpose, but no one really understood why it was like this at all. No one understood why. No one understood what was going on. It was, who knows? And now we know. And now I know, thanks to the wiki, because I was right on the money. I was right on the frickin' money, guys. Right on the money, money, money. Eventually, Prototype would relocate her to the large dollhouse along Sweet Street, needing the space in the brainwashing areas for his plans. Lily would spend years roaming Sweet Street, driven mad, failing to understand why she was a designated outcast. The prototype providing her only the bare essentials such as food, water, while continuing her isolation uninterrupted. During one of her outbursts, she smashed a window in the dollhouse, only to cover it with her favorite poster in fear it would displease Prototype. At some point, Lily found her rotting former body in the dump, finding a kinship with it for reasons beyond her comprehension. Llamas! Llamas! I just see llamas when I turn my head. That's awesome. That's awesome. Lily treated her corpse like a doll and kept the remains in the bedroom of her dollhouse, rotting there as a shell of whom she once was. That is absolutely insane, guys. Crazy! Why can't we go to a better place, Lily? Well, when our guest arrives, maybe he'll be so happy he'll invite all of us. Oh yeah, you're right, you're right. It's so updated so that the stars glow. That's so crazy. That's so freaking crazy. I love that. Awesome. I like the little artwork though. The little artwork was awesome. That's so freaking cool. That's so freaking cool. I love that. That is very, very interesting. That's crazy. Ball jointed doll, the legs and nose, large oval shaped eyes, black irises, round ears, vaguely blushed cheeks, and smiling mouth framed by white teeth. Long, curved eyelashes for each eyelid, most notable feature. Vibrant purple hair, which appears to be large, chignon-like style, and then unfolds to 3 lengthy braids, with a regular bang hanging out from her forehead. Back of her head, there is a golden ring holding some hair braids stick out from it. She wears purple. One viewer, yeah. I'm glad that you're here. I'm looking a little bit more on Lily Love braids, and I was right on the money. Huh? Know this? Know what? Know what? Told ya. Nice. Yeah, but I didn't realize. I looked at it. I looked and I figured out I was right on the money that Lily Love braids hadn't been completed until way after the Hour of Joy. So the original experiment date for the Lily Love braids bigger body was supposed to be 12 days before the Hour of Joy. So that surgery hadn't happened until way after. Where Gracie Green was found by Kickin' Chicken, Hoppy Hopscotch, and Baba Chops in an act of vengeance in the role of brainwashing the other experiments. The prototype successfully experimented with Gracie Green, transformed her into Lily Love braids. After the hour, so Gracie Green was taken during the Hour of Joy and given to the prototype. Prototype, if I'm going to guess, I think 2 days after, or maybe the day after, took Gracie Green and experimented on her successfully to turn her into Lily Love braids, in which her mind essentially broke, and she would talk to Candy Cat, who was the smallest sliver of Gracie Green that was left, is what the wiki says. Lily's Dollhouse. How's that going? Okay, I'm done with this. Okay. Glowing green stars. I saw that on the wiki because I was looking, I'm like, oh, this is interactive. So I clicked the side button. I'm like, okay, that's her aggressive form. So I clicked again, and then I clicked where it said glowing, and I was like, huh, okay. I clicked it, and then it showed the stars were actually glowing on there as well, which was pretty cool. Very, very cool. I like that. I like that concept, that not only do her eyes, her teeth, and her braids glow, but as well as her stars. That's really cool. I like that. That was a really good integration into the game. But I'm gonna go ahead and go because I've got things that I gotta do and I gotta make sure that they get done. That, and I also want to go and get some Starbucks. So, yippee. So thank you so much for joining me. This was really, really fun. I enjoyed this. I'm going to be making a part two about what the heck happened to Poppy Playtime. So if you want to see that, go ahead and go ahead and give me a subscribe, like if you would so enjoy, and share this to someone who also likes Poppy Playtime, or if you just want to show this to your friends. I don't mind. It helps me a lot, and it helps me gain the motivation to put out new videos and make new lives and do all of the cool things that a YouTuber does. So thank you again so much for joining me on this little adventure and communication about everything about Lily Love braids that I have talked about so far, thanks to the wiki. So thank you so much for joining me. I will see you in the next video. I will see you in the next video. Like I said, like, subscribe, share if you would. Take care of yourself. Is something wrong? No, nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. I just got other stuff that I gotta do, and it's currently, it's 2:24 my time. So I gotta go, because I've got other things I gotta do. And one of those things, I gotta go get a coffee from Starbucks. So, thank you so much for joining me. Like, subscribe, share if you would like. Take care of yourselves. Take care of all the people you care about, as well as your pets if you have any, please. And then I will see you guys in the next live. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.